to 10 men in the second half, and then Bournemouth turned the screw. Ryan Christie off the bench to give them the lead. And that memorable and historical win was sealed by Kluivert's penalty. Bournemouth winning it by 2-0. Lots of reaction on the way, but let's remind you why Arsenal were down to 10 men after 27 minutes. William Saliba's challenge. Trossard, you felt here, could have done a lot better for his teammate.
He gave away the ball, still don't know what he was doing, and because they were in possession of the ball, and you can see the position of Saliba. He was trying, to put the striker offside in case of they recover the ball, but because that comes from his own teammates, there is no offside. He was late on this challenge, and he has no choice but to stop him. So it's for me, he deserves the red card, no doubt.
Originally given yellow, and good use of VAR.
Yeah, very good use. We're quick to criticise, like I said earlier, about VAR, but we can see there's no recovering Arsenal defenders that are going to get anywhere near Evan Nielsen if he gets away here. And the referee makes the right decision, wipes out the yellow and gives a red, and from that point on, the whole aspect of the game had changed.
Yeah. We highlighted the distance there between the two defenders. Quite clearly, Ben White's not getting back. But you also picked up on the fact that the goalkeeper, David Raya, is running backwards at the same point. He wasn't going to get there either.
Yeah, he was. His natural reaction, I think, is to retreat. We can just see it in the top of the picture there. He's backpedaling. So that's making that gap even bigger between that Arsenal triangle almost. And it leaves the referee. Obviously, he makes a gut judgment in the moment. And in all fairness, Evan Nielsen, he's a long way from the goal, so I can understand his original decision, but VAR using the right manner to rescind it to a red.
So into the second half, they're fine margins sometimes, aren't they? I'm guessing Mikel Arteta would have said, hang in there, because we're going to get one big chance. And they got it at 0-0.
They got it with Martinelli. And this game is all about mistakes, because look at that. It just came in, so he was fresh in his mind, so he could have easily took the other option to try to strike on the first post, but instead he opened his right foot and tried to get the second post. But it was a great save from the goalkeeper. But even if he was scoring on this occasion, I'm not sure that Arsenal will be able to get the 3 points of the game, because they were so far away from the level.
As it was, 95 seconds later, they were one down. And the team who scores so many from set plays were undone by one.
Yeah, they were. Well, this is in the first half, and we can see Sterling's position here, and Sterling effectively went off the field after the red card, and you can see the position he's occupying on the edge of the area. He's holding, I think it's Kirkes on the edge there, and just making that position solid. This time, they're down to 10, and Christie's on the edge. There's no one there. That's where Sterling would have been. And from this point on, this is a wonderful set-piece routine from the training ground, and you need a lot of things to come off. Obviously, Kluivert's got to have the right depth of touch, and when it comes, Christie, it's actually moving quite a lot. It's bobbling, but he wraps his foot round it, and I think if you run that 15-20 times, he probably wouldn't catch it as sweet as what he caught it on the night. And it's one of those, you see Sean Cooper there, the set piece coach down at Bournemouth, just getting a little reward. Big hug from Tommy Elphick and a rub on the head from Iriola.
And you've given him a well-deserved name check. I mean, as I say, Arsenal are the set piece kings, but they were well and truly undone.
Yeah, I was wondering, maybe they work on it on a training session as well, because you could see that, as you said, that there were 10 against 6 or 7 in the penalty area, so there were enough players to mark the opponent, but only 2 players touches the ball, and that was Bournemouth players. So, and you can see that they work on it during the training session, because it was easy for them to score the goal.
And you players sometimes have little signals. You've been looking and analysing. You think you found one from the Bournemouth players leading up to the corner?
Yeah, there's one. Well, the trio meet together, so as this corner's given, we can see it just on the edge of the left of the box there. The trio there, and you see him pat his chest there, Christie saying, let's run it almost, it's me. And then if we just stay with it, he just gives another little signal. And I think sometimes you just get a feeling, and you play with each other so much, you get an understanding between you. And it must have just felt right at that moment. Bournemouth were on top, and this is where they really felt as though they could get advantage. We just see his right hand here, I think it goes up there, or his left hand, sorry, there, and he's just pushing Kirkes out because he doesn't want Martinelli to cover that position there. So that corridor's still open for that ball to be played. and it's absolute perfection. They will have ran that so many times in training, and I'll assure you he'll have missed the target so many times.
Yes.
But this time it worked. It'll be right on the night almost.
Yeah, and they sealed it, Bournemouth, with the penalty. That the correct decision again?
Yeah, but again, they gave away the ball. Poor pass, you know.
Kivio.
Yeah, Kivio. So they offered this game, the Gunners, you know. It was Christmas time for Bournemouth, you know, and they gave... I can't remember the last time I saw them making so many mistakes like that caused goals, you know. And as I said, they never get into this game, you know, properly, mentally, physically, all together as a unit, you know. They look sloppy, they look tired mentally and physically. So it's a harsh game. For me, it's a game to forget very quickly for them.
Yeah, I think Manu's right. I think from the get-go, Arsenal weren't at the races. They just didn't seem like themselves, and I think we spoke about it at the top of the show about Saka and Odegaard missing. And when you look at that team sheet, you think, this is good. And then 30 minutes into the game, they lose Saliba as well. You think you're never going to get a better chance to beat Arsenal, especially when they... I just felt as though from the off, they weren't quite pressing Bournemouth. They didn't have the same energy or the same life about them. And their mentality under Arteta is something I've praised loads. I think what the culture and the environment that he's got at the football club at the moment is second to none. And that wasn't his squad there tonight. That was Arsenal of old almost.
Even Arteta looked quiet on the bench today. Usually he used to scream at his players, you know, to show energy all the time, you know. Try to impact his player all the time. Try to talk to them every single second. He looked very quiet.
Good point. OK, only played 8 games. There are still 90 points to play for, of course. But you just wonder, with the fine margins of Manchester City, how this may affect Arsenal.
You never know with City and with Liverpool too, because those teams are mashing, you know, and they win games every single time. So it's going to be very, very difficult. It's a long way, you know, to win the Premier League. But you know that every single point is very important, if you want to win the Premier League, especially against City. They've been a monster for years now.
And obviously it's the way they respond. They've got a Champions League game in the week, but Liverpool to come without William Saliba now.
Well, is it only one game?
Yes. But it's some game to miss.
I hope they will get back more players. I don't know about Odegaard and Saka. I think he will be there. But we have seen what happened, you know, 2 years ago when they lost Saliba the last few games of the season, you know, and they killed their help, you know, to win the Premier League. So every single player who play in the first team, the spine of the team are so important for Arsenal. Do they have the option, you know, to change? I'm not sure about a few players.
Part of that spine is Declan Rice. Here he is with some Arsenal reaction.
Declan, was it one of those days where things just didn't go Arsenal's way?
Yeah, look, I think they're showing the torrents that we had now on the TV just before they went up the other end and scored. Look, I think the matter of the fact is we've kicked ourselves in the foot 3 times now this season in 8 games, and you know we've got away with it twice, at home to Brighton, away to City. But not all the time luck can go your way, and you know in the end tonight Bournemouth kept probing, and you know they won 2-0. So look, I'm proud of us as a group of players because to keep fighting and believing that we do, believe that we can win even with 10 men. I thought we played really well even with 10 men. But the naivety of it is that we've got to stop making mistakes. You know, because we won 11 players for 90 minutes and that wins you football matches. So that's the way I'm seeing it today.
Yeah, you mentioned the red card, of course. And during the season, you faced this problem other times. Of course, we can't expect Arsenal to always get a point every time you get a player sent off. But what do you think you couldn't replicate tonight that you could do on the previous 2 occasions?
To be honest with you, I think with 10 men, we showed a lot of character and personality to stay in the game. Like I said, the big chance was the one we had, Martinelli's chance, which, listen, the keeper's made a great save. He's read Martinelli's shot and they go up the other end and I think they get a corner from that a minute later, and, you know, a routine that usually we're so strong at has done us. So, look, I think there's no regrets tonight other than the fact that we can't keep making silly mistakes, especially if you want to compete a bit at the top at the end of the season. You know, you need your best players on the pitch at all times, and it then gives the other players a mountain to climb as well when you're down to 10 men. But look, the belief in a group of these players is still so high. We've just spoken there as a group. Such a big month coming up. So look, we'll stick together. This is football. This is what happens. It's a roller coaster game. It's an up and down journey, and it's never going to be perfect. But the most important thing is that we stick together and we stay in the right direction.
Thank you, Declan.
Thank you.
Is that a concern? 3 red cards already in 8 games?
Well, it's hard to see that coming, but for me, when you look at the red card, I think, especially the one today, I think there is no question about that. I think Saliba deserves to be sent off, definitely. So, on top of it, when you play 10 against 11 and you give so many mistakes like this, you offer the victory to your opponent, so there is no hope to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think when you allude to Arsenal's 3 red cards this season when they've not won the game, I think that's the first real one that's been forced upon them. The Rice one in the Brighton game and the Trossard one in the City game, they were really naive, stupid mistakes. This one was actually forced upon them. Yeah. I'm sure they've had a sit down in there and they've had a frank moment. And this afternoon, this night at Bournemouth, where after an international break they'll have wanted to gather some momentum for what is a huge month ahead, it might be positive in the long run because they won't let their mentality slip again. They'll have been honest with each other, they'll have been open with each other, and I'm sure a few words have been exchanged in there, but they won't want to feel like that again this season.
And when their mentality has been questioned, they've always had the answers, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I think he will find a few things to say to his players tomorrow morning, I think, as I said, I can't remember the last time I've seen Arsenal playing so badly, all together, making so many mistakes like that, average mistakes that cost huge damages, So Arteta knows that he doesn't have time, because he plays early, in Champions League, so they're going to play every single 3 days. At the moment, if I am Arteta, I will think about those players who are injured, like Saka and Odegaard, because they definitely need them,
Yeah, to go to Liverpool without Saka, Odegaard and Saliba would be a big ask at this moment in time.
Yeah, it would be a really big ask, but I wouldn't judge this Arsenal squad on tonight. I feel as though they've showed us enough over the last 2 years under Mikel Arteta. This will be a blip. They will bounce back from this. They've showed strength in character before, and tonight I think they'll want to sweep away as quickly as possible. And the good thing is that there's a game coming up pretty soon.
Games like this happen once per year, when you play for the title. You know that 1 game or 2 games per season, you're going to miss it. You don't know why. Maybe because you're tired, because you're not concentrate, you miss the unity, things like this. You know that. But when you look at the schedules, it's a bad timing, honestly. When you look at the coming feature, it's Chelsea, Liverpool, and Newcastle. Those clubs are fighting for the same position, and so it's a very, 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 very bad timing,
I think one man that kind of supposedly got away with it, because we haven't spoken about it much tonight, who was very under par for me, and it's probably one of his worst moments in Arsenal shirt, is Raya. And it was just like really silly little mistakes, like he kicks it and he spams it out of play, his passing was bad, he just wasn't quite at it. And don't get me wrong, he made some big saves when needed. It wasn't a terrible, it was just a little bit of a sloppy performance, something that I've not really seen from him in Arsenal.
And is that all it takes sometimes? Just this one player slightly dropping to filter through a team?
I think they were all together the same level today, yeah. I think they look really tired physically and mentally from the start of the game, They look sloppy, the rhythm of the game, the passing, the aggressivity, the pressure on the opponent as well. I didn't see the quality from the Arsenal squad, they used to bring on the pitch for years now.
And do the opposition sense that sometimes? Do you think Bournemouth, like you said, never get a better chance to beat more to Arsenal, and they sense that?
Yeah, I think they'll sense that looking at the team sheet, but they still know it's a big night. And then I think they'll sense that during the game they'll have thought, do you know what, these aren't quite at it tonight. This could be our night. And do you know what, they played perfectly. I thought Iriola's tactics were superb tonight.
OK, let's get the reaction then of the Arsenal manager. Here he is, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, another red card. This is a problem, isn't it? Every game you've finished with 11 men, you've won. The 3 you haven't.
It's very difficult to win the Premier League with 10 men. The game is even coming here against the team is very difficult. We knew that from the beginning, so the task to do it with 10 men for 67, 68 minutes, it's just an accident waiting to happen. We have to go through it 3 times in 8 games, and today it cost us the game. It cost us the game because on top of that we made 2 big mistakes, which are part of football. And we had the biggest chance and the biggest moment in the game with 10 men to score and have a very different result. In the other end, we conceded a goal.
Obviously, the 3 red cards that you've suffered this season are all very different incidents. But where does the responsibility lie? Is there anything you as a coach can try and do to reduce this happening?
Yeah, for sure we try and stick to the rules. As you said, they've been 3 very different ones, 3 very different outcomes as well in other games. But that's it. Today is what happened. The team tried. I mean, the effort, the understanding, and the approach with 10 men again. It was fantastic because I know how hard it is to do it. But today wasn't enough to win the game.
Often after an international break, it can be a little bit difficult. There was rhythm, but not perhaps as much tempo as you might have liked. I'm talking about when it was 11-11 in the first 30 minutes or so. Yeah. Is that, do you think, down to the international break that just interrupts your routine?
I think it was a lot of tempo, too much tempo, and as well a game that they want to play, especially the way they play the first 15-20 minutes at home. And it took us a while to understand what we have to do without much happening in the team. After 15-20 minutes, we start to grab the game much better and start to be in positions and in territory that we really wanted. But after 30 minutes, obviously, the game changes, and that's 2/3 of the game at least.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, since he was appointed, that is 18 red cards for Arsenal. That's more than any other team. Their next 6 fixtures, as Manu was alluding to: Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, Inter Milan as well, in there as well. Accident waiting to happen, he said today, Manu.
Well, I remember back in days when we won the Premier League as well, we had so many red cards as well, so...
It's not always a bad thing, sometimes aggressive ones, but I think this season there have been soft ones, needless ones, whereas if it's a challenge, if it's a goal clearance with arms, something like that, something needed, then it's a little bit more forgivable, but these ones aren't.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your company on a day when Arsenal had the opportunity to end the day as Premier League leaders for the first time this season. Bournemouth had other ideas, just their 2nd ever win over Arsenal, and they'll enjoy it. See you soon.
Thoughts on Arsenal and Tottenham? If not for that 1-week blip where they lost to Aston Villa and bow out of the Champions League, Arsenal have been by far the most impressive team this season. They have the best defensive record. They blow teams away by huge margin of goals, which leave them with the top goal difference, worth a point at least. Even after that week of disappointment, they are now pretty much faultless. It is not their choice, however. They have to be because reigning champions Manchester City have games in hand, which if they win all the remaining games, there is nothing Arsenal can do about it. They will be crowned champions for the 4th consecutive time. But the way Arsenal played this season, it will be a shame if they did not win the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur's club, on the other hand, have had a very good start to the season led by their new coach Ange Postecoglou. Since then, they have fallen off due to injuries and other reasons in the middle of the season. Still, they are in prime place to fight for the Champions League spot with Aston Villa. Villa currently have more points, but Spurs have an advantage if they win all their games in hand. They are also on a course in the remaining matches of the season to play the top 3 Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool, which puts them in a position to be kingmakers or title deniers. They also have a history of good records previously against the top 3 teams.